Hey, it's Rainee Romero with the Carolina Justice Report. Thank you so much for watching today. We are back with another Murdaugh Murder update for you. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So we are here, the trio, I should say. I was going to do threesome, and then I switched it to trio because that sounded better. So anyway, we are here with attorneys Sarah Austin and Aimee Lawrence. How are you doing, ladies?
Doing good. Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. We are back with another Murdaugh Murder update. So we've been getting a lot of traction on this online because so many people are invested in this and what's going on. Last time we chatted, we didn't have a ton of crazy updates, but the main one was that Alex Murdaugh had been indicted on these charges for murder for his wife and son. Since then, what's kind of happened? I know, Sarah, you were explaining kind of how a bond hearing worked and kind of what it meant, but nothing had happened at that point because it was on that day. So what's happened since then?
Let me throw myself into here.
Yeah.
Take the lead here.
Go for it.
So what we normally see, what we were excited about and what we talked about in our last episode is that during that bond hearing, we were excited to hear about the bond hearing because we wanted to hear the allegations, right, to get that warrant for the indictment. And instead of getting that information, we learned that Dick Harpootlian, the attorney for Alex Murdaugh, consented with the AG's office to deny bond, that they would accept the denial of bond. So we didn't get to hear all those allegations that would normally come out in a bond hearing. We also learned in that hearing, and it was with Judge Newman, who's super well respected and loved. He's just a great judge. He's fair. He's just really fair. Is that the AG and the defense had asked for a gag order and were willing to consent to it. And instead of just blanketly giving it because both parties asked for it and consented to it, Judge Newman took it under advisement, and he came out later and denied and said that this was a public matter and it needed to be, part of the issues in this case with the Murdaughs and with Alec particularly is that all this had been happening in the dark for so long and that the public needed to know. And I thought that was super brave and tremendous of Judge Newman to deny that, especially when all parties were consenting. You just don't see that very often.
You don't, and I'm glad that he did that, I think, especially because the Murdaughs and everything that's going on has really put the justice system under a microscope, and there's judges potentially or allegedly involved in some of these things depending on who you ask. So for Judge Newman to say no, I think the public gets to hear all of it. It's kind of like saying no, the justice system is still working and it's going to work even though Alex Murdaugh abused it for so long. That was awesome. I'm glad that he did that.
Well, and they showed, his most recent mugshot, which he looks terrible. I mean, I expect him to look terrible, but still, he just looks terrible.
I think that's the living example of what. And he's in jail. He's not even in prison. He's in jail. And I always like to call jail a real shitty summer camp. It's like a bad bed, bad mattress, a wool blanket, but you're relatively safe in jail. It's people that are awaiting trial, that kind of stuff. So when we see, parents call me all the time. They're like, "Oh my God, my kid's in jail," and I'm like, they're fine. They're not they're not putting a kid in for public intox and with a murder. They're just not. At least they're not supposed to anyway. So, but I think this is a testament to how hard jail and prison is on people because he has aged tremendously, and he's not doing doing so good on that cot. Those 3 hots in a cot aren't doing so good.
Oh yeah, he looks like he's in his 70s. I mean, he's 54 and just looks frail. Thin and just aged, and just to kind of
that might be a tactic as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they shaved his head, he took on a whole different look.
Yeah,
and it made him look older. And when you said that it made him look 70, it wouldn't surprise me if that was strategic in some way.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought of that. That is interesting. Well, and just I know Aimee, you kind of went over some of this stuff, but just to kind of give some details again, he pleaded not guilty and agreed to remain in jail without bond. And, his lawyers were saying that, he already has $7 million in bond on unrelated criminal charges, so he can't afford to put up cash for this one. So, but this is, again, in the killings of his wife Maggie and their son Paul. What happens now? I mean, I know last time we talked, we were waiting for kind of the bond was the next step, but what happens now? Are we waiting on like a trial date or?
We are. One of the things that his defense team argued in court during the non-bond hearing was that they would be ready to go in November. And one of the things I thought was, at least I think that everybody thought was strange, is that in the motion of the defense, they mentioned like these are the judges that could hear it in Colleton County, and I know that like especially Fitz News and the Murdaugh Murder podcast, Mandy Matney and that group just thought that was really weird. I thought it was really weird that they named them, but on the other hand, those are the judges that are assigned during that term of court. So because I know that, and it's been decided for practically a year in advance.
Yeah.
It didn't really bother me that those two judges were mentioned by name. It was just because those are the two that are going to be in that county during that term of court.
Yeah.
So it could only be one of those two judges.
We've had a lot of folks that have been watching us on the YouTube channel was what I was going to say. I sounded really old there for a second.
The YouTube and the Facebook. Right.
But we've had people commenting, constantly discussing the death penalty and if that's going to play a part in this trial. What do you guys think about that?
There's been no word that there would be anything that would make us believe that this would be a death penalty case. They would have come out immediately and said it was.
Really?
Unless there's like some new heinous quality that comes out but it's been a year, it's been over a year.
Well, how does
they've
that
been
work?
Investigating this.
You have to establish that it's going to be a death penalty case at the start?
Essentially, that's what you do, because how you handle a death penalty case is completely different than how you would handle a non-capital murder case.
Interesting.
Yep.
So what would qualify as a death penalty? Because, this sounds pretty heinous to me, but it's not heinous enough?
Someone who tries not to do murder cases. I know that it has to have extenuating circumstances, that it has a particular heinous quality to it, I guess.
Interesting. And you say you are someone who does not do murder cases.
I've done murder. I do not want to do murder. I'm not a murder lawyer.
And so I guess this is a good way for us to segue to a different Aimee.
Yeah.
So Aimee Zmroczek, did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, Aimee Zmroczek.
She does handle this kind of stuff, right?
She does.
And we work closely with her.
We do. She's a great friend of ours. We've co-counseled on a murder case before and got a not guilty. It was an exoneration project, an innocence project that we worked on. And she's just an amazing attorney. I can't say enough nice things about her.
Awesome.
I wish my brain worked like that. She's really, really good at what she does.
Awesome.
But she has come on board recently with Eddie Smith's case. And so she is going to be one of the attorneys on his case. So I'm excited. I told her, I'm like, don't tell me, because then I can't comment. Comment on our podcast about it. So don't, like, little Chinese wall is what they call it. Don't tell me all about it.
Yeah.
I just want to know. I want to know what everything I see in the press. I don't want to know any of the, as hard as that is. I want to know it all, but like I also want to do the right thing too. So.
I think she's going to be a great addition to his team too, because
absolutely.
It's always been suspicious to me, his involvement in the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Smith, if you remember, is the one who Alec allegedly hired to kill him, but then didn't kill him.
Right.
And so all of the implications with him have just been so super weird.
Mm-hmm.
And so if
I agree.
anyone
It just didn't make any sense.
No sense.
Yeah, and so if anyone can figure out what happened and do a good job representing Eddie and just women in criminal justice system, it's going to be Aimee. It's going to be fun to watch her shake things up.
Yeah.
Cool. Man,
Anytime we
tease.
see a badass female attorney hop into the arena, we get excited because we know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the most thorough. She's just. I don't know if you know this, but we're a fan. I don't know if you got that out of it, but she's just amazing at what she does, and I'll be excited to see what she brings to the
Now, where's she out of, city-wise?
Columbia, but she takes cases all over South Carolina.
Gotcha. So, authorities haven't released any evidence on how they linked Alec to those deaths. And the bond hearing we got nothing as well. No clues as to why this happened, why he was indicted, and what's going on. So why are they staying so tight-lipped about everything?
I just think the defense team probably, I can't speak for them, but knows that this is a media frenzy and any little bit of information that gets out is going to be twisted and used before the trial comes to light. So knowing that he wasn't going to get out on bond anyway because all of his money's tied up in the civil stuff and he's in there for other charges, it's probably easier to keep it quiet and not have us podcasting about details before it goes to trial, because they want to put the best case on for Alec that they can.
Sure.
And so,
That makes
and part
sense.
of that is having all the evidence come out at the trial like it's supposed to and not prior to.
Yeah, I mean, this is the deal. Everybody wants to get mad at Dick Harpootlian and Jim about wanting this gag order. Look, they're doing their job, right? And the point of a gag order is to make sure that your jury pool is not tainted with all kinds of information that could be true or not be true, and that all that comes to light in a trial, and that the jurors have kind of like they're a blank canvas when they listen to it.
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
so if they're hearing everything about the case, true and not true, it makes it really hard when they see the evidence in trial to like differentiate the difference.
Does it make, I don't know the rules of how this works, but do we know where this is going to be tried at, and does it make sense to take it somewhere else?
It'll be tried in Colleton County, right? Isn't it Colleton?
Yeah, Colleton was where the last
Yeah, Colleton
verdict
County,
came out.
which is where I guess Moselle is, and it'll be tried there. Now, at least it's supposed to be tried there. I'm sure the defense is going to make some motions for a change of venue, and I wouldn't fault him for that at all.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure there's any other county in our state that would be
better.
More appropriate.
right?
That's for Judge Newman to decide.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so, if he is convicted of murder, what does that look like as far as jail time?
I mean, it could be the rest of his
35
life.
to
It could be, yeah.
So, are there any details that you guys are especially curious about to come out through all this? And when do we think a trial? How does that work with that trial date being set? Will this be pushed to the front of the line for anything? Is it systematic, or is there like any kind of whatever the word is for
I don't
like
think
where it falls?
this isn't going to take any priority over the other murder cases that are 4 or 5, 6 years old in that county. I don't think.
I don't think that it should either.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
Because
I don't
there are people that have been waiting for years for their trials.
So you think it's going to be a while?
Just because Alex Murdaugh was the king of that area doesn't mean that he gets to pop to the front of the line. I think that's exactly why we're here today. And we're in the situation we're in is because that's been this par for the course. So, everybody gets their day of justice and he doesn't get any sooner than anybody else.
Is that possible though? Like have other trials been pushed to the forefront if they've been high profile like that?
It's possible.
And in this case, I think that's
Likely.
it's been the exception to the rule. Yeah. The Murdaughs have been the exception to the rule for decades.
For everything.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anything else to add to this? I know I kind of didn't let you answer, if there's any specific evidence you're thinking or that you're looking forward to coming out.
I think we just want to know the motive. That's what I want to know is like, what's the motive of killing your wife and kid if that's what he did? Because like I said, we've argued. I can't wrap my mind around killing your child. So I just
He's
want to know what the
innocent until
motive
proven
is.
guilty, but
yeah, no, absolutely.
all signs point to.
Sure.
I think I want to know the motive. I think I want to know why. The why. Because
Has
I think
anything-
that's important.
Yeah. Well, of course. And for everyone to wrap their head around, that's why it's
Well,
important
I mean,
too.
we hear random acts of violence all the time. Somebody gets, shot over a PlayStation or, a random drug deal going wrong, like things like that. And even senseless things. But like when it's that close to home and it's a man that's accused of killing his wife and son, it's just, we want to know why.
It feels like it had to, at least for me, it
It has
feels
to be
like
something else.
It had to be to cover up something worse than that.
Right.
If that's the solution to your problem,
Yeah,
then
I agree.
What is the problem?
Right.
It's got to be
That
way
you were trying
insanely,
to cover up.
yeah.
So I want to know what is that.
Yeah.
I wonder
What's
if
that look like?
Maggie knew all of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes.
I think
or
we've
not.
all wondered that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
We'll see.
Yeah, very interesting. Folks, and just real quickly, have you heard any updates with the boat crash and all of that?
I haven't heard anything new.
I haven't heard anything either.
On the
Okay.
Mallory Beach case, I haven't.
All right, folks. Well, of course, thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you want to hear, what you'd like us to talk about. If you have any questions on how the process goes, these are your ladies for that. So thank you so much for watching today. We release the Carolina Justice Report every Tuesday at 2 p.m. We're on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and everywhere that you consume your media. You can visit us online at justiceislovely.com. We also keep our shows posted there as well. Thank you so much for watching today. We'll see you next time.
When life gets ugly, justice is love.